Okay, NFL aficionado fiend fans, here's the recap of Week 1 fantasy football. As you know, I posted a video earlier in the week reviewing the top 5 lists, or doing a top 5 overall list for each position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, kickers, defense, and then a couple sneak plays that I thought might do really well. So, going to review, see who did what, see who finished where, and then go from there. Basically, I pulled the points from the ESPN standard PPR. So I know everybody out there has different ways they do their deals. I know in my league, my PPR league, we have bonus points for 150 yards rushing, 300 yards passing, 350 yards passing, 100 yards receiving, 40-yard touchdowns. Things just make it a little bit more interesting. But just a standard for what I pulled for this. All I did was basically, hey, standard PPR ESPN scoring league, and kind of go from there. So without further ado, here's the Week 1 recap of the top 5 of the averages, and then where everybody ended up and how they did. So if you remember, in the quarterback rankings, you had Josh Allen 1, Jalen Hurts 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Jaden Daniels 4, Joe Burrow 5. Josh Allen absolutely killed it with his performance, especially in the fourth quarter against the Ravens. He finishes the number one fantasy QB1 across all leagues. He ended up with 38.76 points in PPR standard scoring. So finished number 1 overall, Josh Allen. Wasn't looking good and for the first 3 quarters, but then he put a Superman cape on and came through in that fourth quarter, and oh my goodness, what a game he had and finished with. So number 2, Jalen Hurts. He finished at 24.28, good enough for a QB8 finish for week number 1. Again, that game was sloppy. I think the rain delay had something to do with it, but overall he did okay. Again, his rushing upside buoyed his deal. Again, you're never going to get a whole lot of passing from him. He's mainly, he's a dual threat quarterback. Without his rushing totals, he really hurts. So number 3 is Lamar Jackson. He finished at the QB3 spot. So excellent for him. He finished with 29.36 points overall. So again, had a very efficient game, a very solid game, and basically rushing and passing. Didn't have overwhelming stats passing the ball, but his rushing definitely helped him out and pointed it. Plus, he had a rushing touchdown as well with a couple passing touchdowns. So the number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 4, Jaden Daniels. He finished at the 4 spot, 20.12. Did okay, nothing super spectacular. Did a solid effort, but I think people were expecting a lot more out of him going against that Giants team. But again, that Giant defensive line is proven to be a wrecking ball. I just wish they had an offense to go along with it. So number 4, Jaden Daniels. Joe Burrow, absolute bust this week. I tell you what, guys, if that offensive line don't improve in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow may not see the end of the season. He finished with 8.82 points, number QB 25 overall, which absolute garbage with the expectations we had going into the season for him. So just scud bucket of a day for him. Again, surprised they won, but Joe Burrow had better figure out, and that Cincinnati Bengals had better figure out that offensive line, or else he's going to have a lot more. He's going to be a fantasy bust this year if he continues to play like that. But they started out weak last year, so we'll see how the season continues on. So my 2 sneak picks everybody remembers was Bo Nix. Man, he did even worse than Joe Burrow. He was absolute trash. 3 turnovers in the day and just could not consistently get the ball going. Don't know if it's a sophomore slump or if basically he just wasn't as good as we thought he was last year. But he ended the game with 6.84 points, QB 29 overall. And then Trevor Lawrence, he did better than Burrow and Nix. But again, nothing to write home about. 10.32 fantasy points for PPR. Ended up at QB 24 for the deal. I think you've seen what the Jacksonville wants to do. They want to run the ball. Travis Etienne had a fantastic game. Over 140 yards rushing. Excellent deal. But Liam Cohen is staple is running the ball and making things happen. So my 2 sneak picks, guys. Sorry, I busted out on both of them for you guys. So okay, so. That's the QBs. We'll move on to running backs. Okay, Number 1 overall was Bijan Robinson. Number 2 was Saquon Barkley. Number 3 was Jahmyr Gibbs. Number 4 was Christian McCaffrey. Number 5 was Derrick Henry, King Henry. So we'll go over those guys right now. Bijan Robinson finished overall number 2. Really helped out by that 50-yard catch and run for the touchdown that he had. More receiving than rushing, but he did good overall. So he ended up with 24.4 points to come in RB2 for Week 1 fantasy football PPR. Number 2, Saquon Barkley. He finished actually at 18.4, good enough for RB7 in Week 1. Decent game, solid game, but nothing spectacular. Definitely not used to what we were seeing last year. But again, if you remember my picks in the deal, the 40% rule on him. So I think we need to temper expectations on another season by him of what he did last year. But again, RB7, not bad, top 10. And don't forget they had that lightning delay, which I think really disrupted the rhythm of the game. And so I think as the season moves forward, running backs you see start doing better. So all right, number 3, Jahmyr Gibbs. He finished at 15 points, RB13. They got problems out there in Detroit, guys. If that offensive line don't get better, I don't know if Gibbs is going to hold up to his high draft standard because they just that center and those 2 guards just can't block anybody. And it looks bad out there in Detroit. So Gibbs did not produce the way we expected outside the top 10. Again, still top 20, but not what you're expecting when he was probably drafted 4th or 5th overall in most leagues. I know in my league, I think he went 4th overall. So expecting much higher, especially with what he did last year. The surprise, Christian McCaffrey, number 4 overall. He actually finished number 3 in RB3 in Week 1 fantasy PPR football with 23.22 points. Fantastic. Did not see that coming. So, blind squirrel finds it every once in a while. Or for those of you that drafted Christian McCaffrey very high, you're very happy right now to see this guy, and hopefully he can continue this through the season and keep producing. Because he went high overall in draft. So Christian McCaffrey, RB3 for Week 1 PPR with 23.2 points. Number 5, the man, the legend, Mr. King Henry, Mr. Derrick Henry, finished RB1, number 1 overall. He finished with 29.2 points. I know because I watched him run over my Bills defense all game long until he fumbled in the 4th quarter and let us come to win, but can't take that away. Can't take that one little mistake away. Again, the dude was just phenomenal all night. I think he had close to 170 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. One was 30 yards, one was 46 yards. I mean, he basically just ran all over Buffalo. So he could be, maybe he's the guy this year to break the streak of the 400 plus touches, and he just has another monster season. But it definitely started out well in Week 1 against the Bills. So, all right, my 2 sneak picks. Chase Brown in Cleveland. Again, any offensive players in Cincinnati were absolute bums because of that offensive line, just how bad they were. So I'm hoping that, or Cleveland's just got an awesome defense that's going to keep them in games. Not sure, but Chase Brown finished with 13.1 points, good enough for RB24 overall. The other one was R.J. Harvey playing Tennessee. Again, same thing. Anybody that I know, I preached Denver and all their offensive skill players, and most of them came up were bums. So Harvey did break off a nice 50-yard run in that game, but again, wasn't enough. 7.9 points, RB36 overall, which was very, very sad. I know he was outproduced by his running mate, J.K. Dobbins over there in Denver, but wanted to cover that. So anyways, moving on to wide receivers. Again, going with the so let's recap for receivers. Jamar Chase, number 1. CeeDee Lamb, number 2. Justin Jefferson, number 3. Malik Neighbors, number 4. And Amon St. Brown, number 5. Jamar Chase, again, I just said it. Anybody in Cincinnati was an absolute bust this week. Jamar Chase, he finished so low in wide receiver rankings, I got tired of looking where he was at on the stat deal. He 4.6 overall. Was the number of points he scored, which anybody who drafted him knows we expected way more out of Jamar Chase. So, number 2, CeeDee Lamb. Had a respectable game, 18 points. Wide receiver 14 overall for week number 1. Some huge drops, though. Had he not had those big drops, you definitely see him higher in the rankings. He's clearly the number one target in Dallas, and Dak trusts him. Even after the drops, Dak kept going back to him. Nothing more evident when on that fourth down play through it. Again, it was a tough catch, but when you're making the kind of money CeeDee Lamb makes, that's the catch you make. So, anyways, wide receiver 14 overall with 18 points for Mr. CeeDee Lamb. Justin Jefferson, respectable, wide receiver 20 with 14.8. It is clear that until J.J. McCarthy figures out how to play quarterback in the NFL, he's going to be hamstringed by that. I know I watched the game last night. For the first three quarters, it looked like he was completely lost, and then the fourth quarter, McCarthy started to turn it on. So as the season gets better, hopefully we see him get better. They were playing a good defense until the Bears were playing phenomenal defense up until the fourth quarter, and then they kind of the dam just broke open. So Jefferson may need to temper expectations on him until McCarthy shows that he can actually play real big boy NFL football. So moving on to the next guy, Malik Neighbors. Again, same situation. Terrible quarterback situation out there in Giant Land. Russell Wilson is a bum, and sorry, Jackson Dart needs to start. Let's just start the Jackson Dart era and let it go and see what he can do with Malik Neighbors. But Malik Neighbors finished at number wide receiver 29 overall with 12.1 points. So again, wide receivers are great, but if you don't have a good quarterback, man, sucks to be you. Sorry. The top guy this week, just so you guys know. Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, Keon Coleman, Josh Allen, and then Quentin Johnson, Justin Herbert. Amazing. Top receivers have top quarterbacks. So hope you got something going on there. So number 5 overall, Mon St. Brown, another bust because Detroit was just miserable. I mean, they were terrible on offense all day long. Mon St. Brown actually finished at wide receiver number 47 overall with 8.5 points. Absolute bust of a game for him. So until that Detroit offense figures out what they're doing, I would be cautious playing those guys that don't have quarterbacks who can get them the ball or offensive lines who can't protect the quarterback. So moving on, my sneak picks were Brian Thomas. Not a great game from him. Sorry. He was not a good pick. He finished at 9 points for a wide receiver 42 overall. A.J. Brown, wow, he was even worse than Jamar Chase. Again, he's so low on the rankings that I got tired of counting, trying to figure out where he finished, but 1.8 points. That's a terrible, terrible day for Mr. A.J. Brown. And then I did get one that, hey, I feel proud about this one. Again, he's part of Denver, but he did have a decent game. In fact, he was probably the only one catching the ball for Bo Nix out there. Cortland Sutton, he finished at wide receiver 13 with 18.1. Good game for him. Again, I think he did phenomenal. Probably a flex player for most people. Maybe he had him as a starter. I'm not sure, but 18.1 is not a bad average. Top 15 receiver for Week 1 fantasy football, PPR. So moving on, tight ends. All right, here's the list. Brock Bowers number 1, Trey McBride number 2, George Kittle number 3, Sam Laporta number 4, and Travis Kelce number 5. So Brock Bowers 15.3 overall tight end 2 for Week 1. Not too shabby. I think he's the clear number 1 target out there in Raiderland, and he seems to have a great chemistry with Geno Smith, even though it's Geno Smith's first year out there. So I would say, man, if you got Brock Bowers, he's a plug and play player. Those are nice to have. You set them and forget them. I don't care who the opponent is. You play that guy because he's going to produce for you. Trey McBride didn't have an awesome game. I think Kyler Murray, the offense looked good for a minute, but then they struggled a little bit. No touchdowns from Mr. McBride, so hopefully he doesn't continue what he did last year where he caught the ball like crazy, but he just could never get in the end zone. So he finished with 12.1 points for a tight end 12 overall. Not bad, but not great. Again, there's only I'd say there's 3 or 4 great tight ends in the NFL. Now that Kittle's injured, you might be talking about 3 that are consistently plug-and-play players. George Kittle, the guy I just brought up, he's on IR now, so hopefully you guys are out scouring the waiver wire and see what you can find for him. But for week 1. He did finish at tight end 10. I think he would have done a lot better had he not injured his hamstring, but he got you 12.5 points. So good luck on that. He's only on short-term IR for 4 weeks for hamstring injury, so he should be back. So again, no reason to push the panic button yet. Stash him on your roster because again, he is an elite. He is one of the elite tight ends because there are no elite tight ends in the NFL basically. Other than Bowers, McBride, and then you got a lot of jostling for those other positions. So number 4, Sam Laporta, he actually finished at tight end 5, which that tells you how bad the tight end position is in the NFL. When you finish at tight end number 5 and you only score 13.9 points. I mean, I have him on one of my leagues, but again, 13.9 it gets you a tight end, a top 5 finish in fantasy football. So I'm not encouraged going forward, but I don't really know what other options are out there to try to pick up to cover him because I just don't see great things in that Detroit offense with that offensive line. Coordinator will get better as he goes, but that offensive line ain't going to get better as they go. Can't lose a Pro Bowl center and expect your offense to just hum along. So then you got the old man Travis Kelce. He actually came in at tight end 8. He scored 12.7 points to finish, like I said, tight end 8 overall for week 1 PPR. But a lot of that was that busted play, that 40-yard touchdown catch he had where just nobody caught him, nobody covered him. The Chargers completely forgot about him. So you take that away, I think he finishes a whole lot lower. But the thing now is basically Kansas City, they ain't got nobody with Xavier Worthy going out. Hollywood Brown, we know what he is. He's been on 4 teams in 3 years. Or he's on his 3rd team in the NFL. Former first-round pick. Couldn't make it with the Ravens. Couldn't make it with the Cardinals. And now he's hanging around in Kansas City just because they want to try to get some deep speed going. But as soon as Worthy comes back, again, I think he gets regulated in Rashid Rice. So, anyways, good job, Travis Kelce, finishing the top 10. But again, like I said, you're a top 10 tight end. You scored 12.7 points, man. And most of that came on one play. The 2 sneak picks, man, I busted on them both for you. Not a good week for me on sneak picks, guys. Not going to lie to you. Evan Ingram, 5.1 points for a tight end 28. And then Jake Ferguson in Dallas, 7.3 for a tight end 22 overall finish. Man, I'm sorry, guys. I just busted on those tight ends for you. But there's not a whole lot out there, man. Really. Again, sorry about your luck. The tight end position has not been good for a while in fantasy football. It's tough to find a good tight end. So definitely a streaming option if you can go for it. So moving on to kickers. Aubrey was number 1. Dicker was number 2. McLaughlin number 3. Bass was 4. And Luss was number 5. So Aubrey finished with 11 points. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't put where they finished with their deals, but we'll just move on. Aubrey got you 11 points. Dicker got you 9 points. McLaughlin got you 8 points. Bates got you 7 points. Luss got you 7 points. But I did come through on my sneak pick here. Cam Little with Jacksonville got you a big 15 points. That dude is when I drafted him in both my leagues this year, Dynasty and my PPR Yahoo League, I said he is the future Justin Tucker, man. And he come out in a big way, kicking and booming that deal there. So really like where he ended up on that deal there. So if you had the guts and you started Cam Little, you were rewarded this week for sure. Absolutely. In fact, he finished actually tied for 2nd overall. If you imagine that. So okay, Aubrey looks like he finished 8th or 9th. So anyways, Dicker again did phenomenal. Coming in somewhere around 12th, 13th on the kicker list for the deal. McLaughlin with Tampa Bay, they had issues out there all day with their offense. I don't believe that Atlanta's defense is that great. I think that was just more chemistry, learning they got rid of Liam Cohen, so they got a new offensive coordinator. It was an away game, and let's not forget that nobody plays in the preseason anymore. So week 1 for most starters is their actual real first in-game action they've had all season to get going and get rocking. So, which I don't blame you. Losing your number 1 quarterback in preseason is ridiculous now with the money you pay these guys. So Bates, decent game, but man. Actually, I don't know. Bates actually might turn out to be a decent kicker because it looks like Detroit might be a field goal offense this year, but you're going to have some faith to keep starting that dude, and hopefully he kicks field goals because they ain't scoring the touchdowns they scored last year. I'll tell you that right now. Until they get that offensive line solidified, Jared Goff is going to be running for his life all season long. So Mr. Lutz, again, he's a part of that terrible Denver offensive showing. He got 7 points. Looks like he finished up somewhere around 18, 20. Not great, you know. And then, like I said, Little tied for second overall. And then Elliott did okay. Not great, but I think that that game got screwed up with that lightning delay and stuff like that. I mean, and it was a Thursday night opening game of the season, so I think you'll see the Eagles get better on offense, get some rhythm going, and he'll start to produce for you. So, moving on to defenses. So, top 5 overall defenses. You had the Broncos at number 1, Steelers at number 2, the Eagles at number 3, the Cardinals at number 4, and the Vikings at number 5. Broncos, absolutely fantastic. I believe they're going to be a top 3 defense all season. If you were lucky enough to draft them, they're a plug-and-play player. You plug in the Denver Broncos and you let them roll. You don't try to stream. You don't mess around with that BS. You put the Denver Broncos in because that defense is going to be lights out this year. Top 3, easy. The only time you're really going to have to question them is when they go against a great offense. But there's not a whole lot of great offenses right now looking like it in the NFL right now. So they finished at defense number 1 with 16 points overall in week 1. So the Steelers, complete opposite. They got ran over by the Jets, man. For all that steel curtain, how great they are, and signing all that money and trading all those players, giving out Cam Hayward some money, giving T.J. Watt that big contract, trading for Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, they were a complete bust, man. I actually started them in my dynasty league, and they were a big fat goose egg for me, man. Just absolutely terrible. They only got you 1 point for defense 25 overall in week 1. So might want to start looking at replacing them or finding a stream defense for those guys. Now they are the Steelers. They do play well. You know, the defense is a staple in that locker room and that culture of Pittsburgh Nation. But they got ran over by the Jets, and they made Justin Fields look like a Pro Bowl quarterback, and that says something because he is not a Pro Bowl quarterback. Eagles got 2 points, finished for defense 21 overall. Again, I think Dallas has a good offense. I think they get after it. They're going to score points. Again, I think had that game delay not happened, they probably would have done worse than that. So I think that game delay saved them. But let's not forget that dummy Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott and get kicked out the game not even before the first play even happened from the line of scrimmage. So I think Jalen Carter is that great of a difference in that team and on that defense to where he's just an all-pro man mover there. So without him, I think that defense struggles getting that pressure because now you don't have that guy. You've got to double team coming straight up the center, straight up the gut to put pressure on the quarterback. So I think that was a huge reason why their defense didn't perform as strong as they did, and they struggled a little bit. The Cardinals playing the Saints, they got you 4 points for a defense number 19 overall. I don't think the Cardinals' defense is that great. I think that was more predicated on how bad the offense was versus how good the Cardinals' defense is. So if you stream them, it might do a little something for you. But almost bottom 20 finish isn't that great when you're looking at defenses. Most leagues are 10-team leagues. So they didn't even finish in the top 10. So, or if you got 12-team, whatever. But I have a 10-team leagues. So having a defense at the bottom 20. Consider that a bust. So the Vikings didn't fare much better. They got you 4 points as well. So basically tied for 18th overall with the Cardinals. Watching that game, the longer the game went, the more trouble they gave the Bears. So Brian Flores is an excellent defensive coordinator, but he's going to be scheming a lot to get after those guys because I just don't see a whole lot of blue chip talent on that defense. So I think they're going to do well against the teams that don't have great offensive lines and can't pick up the blitz. But when you start getting when you play the heavy hitters, that's not a defense I would play because Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, they're going to eat they're going to eat those blitzes up. But I don't think any of those guys are on the schedule this year. So Vikings, okay, and then did have 2 sneak picks for you, man. One, I'll take credit for and say, hey, if you started them, good job. The Texans at the Rams. The Texans finished with 8 points overall for a defense 11. Again, just outside the top 10. If they had an offense, I think they would have done more. But when you're on the field for the entire game and your offense just can't produce, it wears the defense out. But I definitely think the Texans, talent on paper, have a top 5 defense. But again, when you're tied to that terrible offense, you can't protect the quarterback. It really only has one skill player worth noting. It's going to be some rough goings because you're going to have to will your team to win games with that defense. The other side, boy, was I wrong on this one, man. So I went. I said, hey, the Colts don't have a quarterback. Miami has a quarterback. Boy, was I wrong ever. If you watch that game, boy, I mean, the Colts put a licking on Tua, and they whooped up on that Miami defense. So Miami, if you listen to me, I apologize. I may have cost you a game because they finished with negative 3 points, 30 defense, 31 overall for week 1. So that was a complete whiff on my part, man. It's a complete strikeout. The only other team that did worse than them was the Baltimore Ravens, and that 500 yards they gave up to the Bills in the fourth quarter. In fact, yeah, it was. I think the Bills finished at 30. Miami at 31, and then Baltimore at 32 were the 3 worst defenses in the league this week. So, anyways, that's what we got for the rankings stuff, guys. So hopefully you did well. Do want to cover my fantasy team. I do play in 2 different leagues. So I have my Yahoo Fantasy League. Been going it a while. So basically, I did win this week, so I won 147.75. I scored 147.75 points to 117.02 against my deal. So I'm starting out 1-0. My top guy was Caleb Williams. Got me 25. He finishes my top guy. I don't have a backup quarterback. We only have 4 backup slots on my deal. Went with CeeDee Lamb and Marvin Harrison. They both got double-digit points for receivers. Both got both had decent games. Lamb more catches and yards. Then my running backs, James Cook and Bucky Irvin, they did well for me as well. Mr. Irvin, though, touchdown saved him, and then Cook got that rushing touchdown, and then that big 51-yard reception that he broke open there. Again, Sam Laporta, 6 catches for almost 80 yards, not bad, but again, didn't do fantastic. And then you got Cortland Sutton. I snuck him in there. He got me some points there. I started Cam Little, again, my sneak pick of the week for kickers, and he definitely booted it for me. And then again, I have the Houston defense going for me, so he did well. But I did bust on some deals, so I managed to sit Mr. Keon Coleman. He absolutely exploded in that Ravens game. He would have been my top receiver, but I didn't trust him going against that Ravens defense. But moving forward, I may get him going forward. So in my other league, I do have in my dynasty league. I won that one as well. That's a non-PPR league that's scoring only. I went with Caleb Williams over Justin Herbert. Oops, that was a mistake. But Caleb did get a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. King Henry and Jonathan Taylor were my running backs. King Henry, we know what he did. Just unbelievable guy. And then Mr. Taylor had a couple touchdowns stolen from him by Daniel Jones, but I trust Taylor going forward. My wide receivers were CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase. Lamb, again, great yardage game, just didn't score any points for me because he didn't get a touchdown. And then Chase, we still got an MI out on that dude because I don't know what happened to that Cincinnati offense. Trey McBride was my tight end that I went with. I had Dalton Kincaid on the bench again. Didn't trust the Bills' offense going against that defense, but man, Kincaid actually looked pretty good in that game. Went with Cam Little as the kicker. I do have a little consistency when I'm trying to be picking out players. And then defense, I went with the Steelers, and they just absolutely got ran over. But both the leagues I went, so I'm 2-0 right now in fantasy football. Dynasty League, 1-0. Yahoo PPR League, 1-0. And so go from there. So, okay, that's it for the recap this week. Hopefully everybody did well. Hopefully you made some smart picks. Hopefully you stayed away from my sneak picks and you got it done. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your comments are. Let me know how you did in the comments below, and we'll kind of recap again. We'll bring another video out. I think I'm going to do the fantasy football videos out on Thursdays. early in the morning, give you time to set your lineups. That way you get time to figure out who's playing, who's not playing, inactive, active, and all that good jazz. But same setup for the next video. We'll do a top 5 at each position of overall list that we look at, combine it. Okay, here's the top 5 players. Give you a couple sneak picks in there, and then we'll go over my fantasy teams. Let me know. I love playing, so if you want to invite me to your league, by all means do that. I know it's getting, we're already into week 1, but I love playing. So hey, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts. I'll also ask you guys questions and say, hey, here's the lineup. Who would you start? Who would you not start in my teams? And go from there. So again, congratulations everybody. Week 1's over. Hopefully you started out 1-0. I actually went 3. So for me, I have an undefeated week. So when my Bills win and my 2 fantasy teams win, I say I have an undefeated week. So undefeated week for me this week, which is awesome. It definitely feels good. I am the defending Super Bowl champ in my Dynasty League. I won last year, so we're trying to get back-to-back titles this year. And again, good starting out at 1-0 with the deal. So I think I left, yeah. Anyways, so all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Really look forward to talking with you guys. Again, let me know your comments below about what you thought, the list, who you started, who you didn't. Man, did you do like I did? You left somebody great on the bench, Keon Coleman, or did you make all the right calls and man, you got that A+ starting lineup and just blew your guy out the water and took care of your week 1 opponent. So as always, guys, stay safe out there, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.